Okay, so here on part two of long night movies, I'm going to go through my top 10. When I say long night movies, I mean movies that take place over the course of one night. I did a 20 to 11 the other day. If you want to check that out, it's on my page. Number 10, we have Night of the Living Dead. You can't just leave this one out. It's a classic, so I wanted to put it in there at least in my top 10. A group of strangers hide out in a farmhouse while trying to fend off hordes of flesh eating zombies. This film came out in 1968, directed by George A. Romero, the king of zombie films. I mean, you got to picture of like how did this movie look in 1968? It's probably terrifying. All right, number 9 we have After Hours, directed by Martin Scorsese. It follows a film about a dude who's just honestly just trying to get laid. Instead, you have this otherwise spend your Friday nights alone type of guy have to survive through the streets of Manhattan and make his way home while having to deal with an angry husband among other zany characters on his way home. This guy just can't catch a break, man, after just a terrible date that he should never even went on in the first place. Number 8, we have The Raid Redemption. Incredibly underrated, this Indonesian film has to follow 20 elite cops who travel through this building through 30 floors in order to get to a crime lord. This movie features some of the greatest action sequences I have ever seen in a movie. At number 7, we have the movie Coherence. This movie is a wild, mind-bending experience. Some friends get together for a dinner party one night when a comet passes over them. After that, everything takes a weird and just confusing turn, and I can't really get into it without spoiling anything, but I highly recommend this movie. It's fantastic. Now, number 6, we have Die Hard. And yes, it is a Christmas movie. This is your classic one man versus all feature where a wisecracking Bruce Willis takes on a bunch of terrorists led by Alan Rickman. It's just a badass, action packed, forever quotable treasure. I got the first Halloween from 1978 at my number 5. I'm not one of those people who think the rest are trash, but this first one definitely holds up the best. 15 years after murdering his sister as a small child, Michael Myers returns home and wreaks havoc on Halloween night. Unless Dr. Loomis can come save the day. And at number 4, I have the original 1981 Evil Dead. Evil spirits torture a group of friends at a secluded cabin in the woods. It'll just make your skin crawl as each one of these characters starts to get taken over by this damn thing. I'm sure like 98% of people have seen this movie, especially if you're into horror. Ash Williams alone is a household name these days. At number 3, we got The Warriors. This is a movie where street gangs outnumber the cops 5 to 1. The Warriors are on the run trying to survive the night and make it back to their home turf in Cody Island after being framed for a murder that they didn't commit. Every other gang is sent out trying to hunt them down. The Warriors is a cult classic and one of my favorites. If you haven't seen this movie by now, you got to go check it out. It's a real fun time. At number 2, we have Collateral, starring Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Foxx plays a cab driver in LA who unluckily picks up a hitman played by Tom Cruise, forcing him to drive him around all night to each one of his 5 targets. Personally, I think that this is Tom Cruise's best performance. I am a fan of Tom Cruise, so it's not like, oh, it's the only thing I like him in, but I think he's just awesome in this movie. And then finally, at number 1, we have one of my favorite movies of all time, possibly my favorite A24 film, Green Room. How would you feel if you were trapped inside of a bar full of skinheads after witnessing them murder someone? Yeah, that's the premise of this movie. So you can only imagine that it's a little bloody, but nevertheless, fantastic movie. All right, guys. So that's my top 10 long night movies. Let me know in the comments what you think of these movies and what you think are one of your favorite long night movies. And if you can, hit that follow button.